December 11, 2014 Dune City Council meeting. Please come to order. It is 7 o'clock p.m. And Renee, could I please have a roll call?
Sure. Mayor Rebecca Reedy.
Here.
Council President Jamie Mills.
Here.
Councilor Dick Anderson.
Here.
And Councilor Sheldon Meyer.
Present.
Councilor Marie Sanders.
I am here.
Councilor Ed Scarberry.
Here.
And Councilor Duke Wells.
Here.
Let the record show that City Administrator Fred Hilton is absent and excused.
Yes, he is. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilors, I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, we approve tonight's agenda. Any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay. Councilors, I will entertain a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's consent agenda. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Motion carries. This evening's announcements are the Lane County election has sent out the official write-in tally, and Ken Platt is the write-in candidate with 170 votes. In your packet, there is a signed proclamation. And it says, State of Oregon, County of Lane, City of Dunes. I, Rebecca Reedy, Mayor of the Dune City, Oregon, do hereby certify that in accordance with the laws of the State of Oregon, that the City Recorder has canvassed the votes cast at the general election held on November 4th, 2014, and that the following votes were cast for the office of Mayor and City Councilor. Be it certified that the total number of votes cast for the office of Mayor, Rebecca Reedy, 527, write-in 42. Be it further certified that the total number of votes cast for 3 positions for the office of City Councilor, Sheldon Meyer, 455, Duke Wells, 472, write-in Ken Platt, 107, write-in John Scott, 71, write-in other, 95. A copy of the official Lane County abstract of votes summarizing votes cast for the City of Dunes, City Mayor, and City of Dunes City Councilors is attached here too. There you are.
Would you accept a comment on that announcement, Cindy?
Certainly.
Okay. In the write-in other, I am very pleased to see that while I wasn't running for office and currently in office, I received 2 write-in votes. So thank you to whoever did it, because I really appreciate getting 1 more vote than Charles Manson and Ted Bundy.
All right. Good.
The chief of police gets 1 more vote than a mass murderer.
Yeah, okay. All right. Duly noted. Duly noted. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's not where I thought you were going.
That's not where I thought you were going. Good one. All right. There is an ethics training workshop, counselor, at the Florence City Hall on December 15th from 9 to 3. There are several counselors, including myself as mayor, will be attending that. And as you know, each election year there's an effort to provide ethics training to new and returning counselors and any interested parties and staff. I thought in the effort to collaborate and collaborate with the City of Florence, we have combined those this year, and it will be facilitated by a number of people organized by the interim city manager of Florence. So I hope you all have replied, whoever's attending. It should be very worthwhile. The 3rd annual Dune City Triathlon and Duathlon is May 9th, 2015. This will always be on our announcements until, the event occurs, and then we'll celebrate. An important announcement, the Mayor's Banquet is December 12th, which is tomorrow night. Everyone's invited, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Dune City Hall. Look forward to seeing everyone. And Councilor Mills and the staff here have begun to decorate. As you can see, some of the beautiful decorations have already come out. And it should be a good time had by all. It is even though we're calling it a banquet, it is a potluck. And so I think we're going to have some ham and everyone brings side dishes and desserts, of course. Any questions or comments about that, counselors, before we move on the announcements? Okay. Everyone's just looking forward to it, I know. All right. Well, I'm glad the storm passed today, so there would be no interruptions for tomorrow. I was a little concerned about that. So, December birthday wishes to Councilor Duke Anderson. In his honor, we will be having cake after the meeting tonight. So everyone, please join us.
Duke who?
Duke Wells. I did say Anderson, didn't I? Oh, surprise! I'm so sorry, Duke. I apologize.
I get the same treatment at home.
I'm sorry, because I think I lost your card.
Good. Is there money in it? Was there a check in it?
There's the check.
Might have been.
Happy birthday, counselor, and we are having goodies. I already saw them back there. Now, I have one final announcement, and then you'll understand my little mess up. So, this announcement, I need to come forward, and I'd like Councilor Anderson to please join me up front.
The other one.
Okay. Thank you. Well, this will be, since this is kind of your final working meeting of the Dune City Council, I wanted to honor you this evening. And I have a plaque that says Community Service Award presented to Dick Anderson in appreciation for 20 years of outstanding service and leadership to the Dune City Council, December 2014. In gratitude, Mayor Rebecca Reedy. So here you are. Yeah, well, you're more than welcome, and we appreciate your service.
Well, thank you.
Did you get the picture?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh. Well, now you understand why I called him in. Oh, it's going to be a long night. Okay. All right. At this portion of the agenda, we do have citizen input scheduled, and we have Mr. Harley Smith scheduled for citizen input. Mr. Smith, since this is your first time, would you come up to the table and put the microphone in front if you'd like to say a few words, and welcome.
Thank you. What do you want me to say? Anything I want? Anything I want?
Yeah, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Oh, no, I just wanted to say that I probably don't need this. My wife and I moved here about a year ago, bought a piece of property, the house is already on it, and we fixed it up quite a bit. We still have some more stuff to do to it. My wife is a housekeeper, and I'm a handyman from a real estate office in California, and there 37 years with them. And I've coached baseball, youth baseball, 37 years. I had a baseball field named after me. I coached high school ball, and eventually I want to get involved up here somewhere in teaching youth sports, baseball mainly, and about life too. And I just wanted to, my wife and I both, me mainly, want to get involved, help out your try-off land.
Okay.
volunteer to help do that, and any other kind of volunteer that you need. I've been on a board. I run a baseball program for 3,000 kids over the 37 years. So I just like to kind of get into the community and give back to help the youth is mainly what I'm here for, is to help the youth like I did where I came from.
Well, thank you so very much. We appreciate you coming by this evening.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. The next agenda item, unfinished old business, and the Regional Road Fund registration, vehicle registration fee. And as everyone's aware, we had some guest speakers last month, including Commissioner Jay Bozovich, and they're asking for a vote of support to put this item on the ballot for next May 15th meeting, or May 2015 ballot. So as a council, we decided we would think about it for a while and make a decision on whether or not we were going to do this at this meeting today. So if you want me to just go over this, I'll just read briefly. On November 13th, Lane County presented the information to the Dune City Council regarding the proposed county vehicle registration fee. Thank you, Rapunzel. And the council discussed the item and tabled it for further discussion and action at tonight's meeting. And the county is requesting that Dune City Council submit a letter of support to place the proposed county vehicle registration fee on the May 2015 ballot. This is not a request to endorse the fee, just a request to endorse placing the question on the May ballot. The 4 other cities the county has met with to date are Springfield, Cottage Grove, Eugene, and Westford. They have moved to submit a letter of support to have it placed on the ballot. The county will meet with the other remaining cities in the next few weeks and report to the Board of Commissioners. So if anyone wanted to make a motion, they would like it to be something like the Dune City Council moves to direct me or ready to submit a letter of support to the Board of County Commissioners to place the county vehicle registration fee on the May ballot so that the question can be decided by the people of Lane County. So that's the discussion item that we have on the table. What is the pleasure we have? Let's start down at the end. You have comments?
I would be
Councilor?
willing to make the motion, but I believe that to proceed that, I'd like to comment that I would like to see it voted on because the county has the capacity to just enact it without a vote. I'd like to see it voted on and have the voters have an opportunity to decide what they wanted to do rather than just have it be thrust down our throats.
Well, there's that. That's pretty good. What do you think, Councilor?
As I said last month, I think this is just a long chain of the powers that be making the wrong decisions over a few decades, ending up in the position that they're in now financially. And to me, this is the quick fix, and I'm not for it at all. Part 2 of that is, since last month, I'd already talked to people about this. I've been aware of it for a little while. And I purposely went out and talked to many people that I knew were in Dune City when I seen them around. And when they made their presentation, they were talking about the great response for it that their researchers that they paid that have done. I don't know who they're talking to. They must have been talking to people that were going to reap the most benefit from this, and that'd be the folks over in Eugene, Springfield area, because the people that I've been talking to here aren't for it at all. So.
Okay.
I understand the language they want to put forward, and I voiced my concern over the fact that you have 4 small cities, ourselves included, that are going to be given a pittance when we can't even compete with the other major cities in this county for grant funding for road maintenance. I'm very concerned about that. I am supportive of the people always having a vote on taxes, and they say this is a fee, let's call it what it is. What they're proposing is a tax for us to use our property, our vehicles on the roadway. It is a tax, pure and simple. I pay for, right now I'm paying $770.30 to Lane County every year of my property taxes. This fee they want would be another $140 in additional taxes that I pay, because I got 3 vehicles and a trailer. That's an 18.2% increase in my taxes to Lane County. They can put it on the ballot, but I'm gonna, unless I see some hard language that small cities will benefit from it, I would support all efforts to defeat such a measure if it goes to the ballot. I've said my piece.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Scarberry?
My objection to this whole thing goes back to the very beginning. I'm not even sure this is something that we should look at as an action item. And after reading through the packet, I'm a little confused because in the meeting minutes last month, Mr. Cooler stated that they were going around to city councils and would like the cities to support the fee. Now, that's how it's written in the minutes here. And then the letter from McKinney, it's quite the opposite. It says request and place a question on the ballot. Well, that's 2 different things. So I'm wondering, are they now changing their story because they saw a little resistance here? But my own personal feeling is I don't think we should be addressing this. If they want to put it on the ballot, put it on the ballot. The council's position is not going to matter to any of the voters out there. And we will vote accordingly if it's on the ballot. So my objection, besides getting into all the numbers and things, because I glanced at the thing that Mr. Herbert brought over, and it's quite telling that the sound of money rushing out of the Dune City area by his figures here, that's close to how I figured it too. It's almost 2 for 1 going out. But I question whether we even should act on this.
Do we know? Yeah. What do you think, Councilor?
It seems to me if we bring it up and vote on it, though we're not telling people how to vote, at least it shows that we had some feeling about it. And it's in people's eyes and ears, I think that they say, well, you know, Dune City thinks it's good, so even though we don't do that, if you know what I'm saying. But if we approve it, we're in fact giving a vote of approval for the ballot. And I don't think we should do that.
I agree, and with Councilor Anderson and most everything everybody said here tonight. Couple of points. First of all, our charter does not allow us as a city council to tack on a tax. And if we, like Councilor Anderson said, if we send a letter saying, yeah, we support you sending this to the vote of the people, it could well look like we are saying that we support this tax, and we are not authorized to do that. Our charter prohibits us from doing that. But in addition, I am also a mother, and I have had teenage children, as I'm sure many of us have, and you give them, when they come to you and ask for money and you give them money, they're gonna come back the next week and ask for more, and they're gonna keep coming back, and that's what I see happening in Lane County, is I want people to live within their means. We did. Our city council, we faced some really tough financial questions over the last few years, and we lived within our means. I think they need to do the same thing, so I wouldn't support it, and I don't support any letter that looks like we might support it.
Okay.
Could I make one editorial comment, just based on the presentation we heard last month? I don't know if anybody else picked up on it, but they were talking about recent accidents on Highway 126. I really hope when they push this to the people, they don't bring up anything like that, because 126 and Highway 101 are not county highways. So none of that money will go to repair or make those roads any safer. That's it.
That's a very good point. Okay, so did you have any further comment,
Yeah,
Counselor?
just one additional thing is, from what I heard in the presentation, they want to enact this, go to the voters to enact it, and there's no sunset clause on it, and I agree with the other comments. This is the camel sticking its nose under the tent, and we'll play hell getting rid of it. So, I've said that.
So is it, how do you want to handle this? Do you want a motion to not respond to this? Do we want a consensus of opinion?
I would make a motion that we take a vote on whether to act on this or not.
Okay, let's hear your motion.
I move that the council does not look at this as a motion to act on, and we just wish them good luck in their endeavors.
Okay, is there a second to the motion that's on the table?
I'll second it.
Okay,
I'm not sure I understand the motion, it's a double negative if I'm here.
Well, my motion is to not act on this, just to let it.
If the chair were to say, is there a motion to give a letter of support for this, and there's no motion, the matter dies and we move on.
He's making an intentional motion
Okay.
to not vote on the request that we have before us. Is that right?
In essence, just letting it die.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded, let's hear it.
Who was the second, I'm sorry?
Counselor Anderson, Counselor
Okay, I'm
House.
a little bit unclear, but in essence, the motion was to take a vote for the council to take no action on this issue.
So a yes vote says we do not want to take any action.
That's correct.
That's correct. Is everyone clear?
Can we do that by roll call?
Absolutely.
I'd like to do that.
All right. Any further discussion before we vote? Counselor Mills?
Yes, I think it does make a difference if we vote on this, because I think it sends the message even louder and clearer to Lane County what our position is.
Well, that's where I was thinking with the roll call, that was my intent,
Sounds
that's for the
right.
roll call, making it each one of us.
Okay.
They've
Counselor
not-
Meyer?
They've not responded to my contention that there needed to be a small city caveat in it, have they, or have they not?
No, they have not.
Okay.
So did my motion really muddy the waters the way I stated it?
Let's read it back.
The motion was to take a vote for the council to take no action on this matter.
Is everyone clear? So a yes vote would be we agree with the motion. A no vote would mean we do not agree with the motion. Everyone clear? Everyone clear?
So if you're voting no, you want to send a letter, whatever it may be.
No, let it die.
And then a yes vote means.
We're letting it die, and we'll probably send a letter and tell them we have not made a vote. I mean, that's because they'll inquire.
We're voting to not
Vote on it.
support this.
Right.
Correct.
So a yes vote means
No.
we're in agreement with not support it.
This is my problem.
Well, I know, that's what I'm trying to.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Once again, read the motion before we vote.
The motion could be withdrawn and restated.
No, I think it's fine, but
Okay.
we just want to make sure everyone's clear.
The
What,
motion is to take a vote for the council to take no action on this matter.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by roll call, aye or no.
Councilor Meyer?
Aye.
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 Unanimous.
I just want to send a message.
Okay.
Motion to carry.
The motion has passed.
Just to say no.
Unfinished old business, item B, water right extension. Counselor Mills.
Okay, recently, one of our permits, one of the city's permits, needed to have a request for extension permit, right? And in that process, once again, the review is done. and I haven't been real good at clarifying what my concerns were. City staff did get a hold of a few people to find out how much it would cost to do a review of the water rights and make a recommendation. But basically my concern is this. The one that I'm talking about is the permit that for 410 acre feet, okay? 410 acre feet, let me get my notes out so I can get the numbers right. All right, let me back up. Most homes, the state recognizes that the average use for a home is 720 gallons per day of water per day. And we have approximately 140 people currently using or signed up with our shared domestic water supply program. So at 720 gallons a day, at 140 on the program, that's 100,800 gallons per day. You convert that, and I'm using the USGS conversion tables that are available online, by dividing it by 646.272, and that will give you the number of gallons per CFS. That comes up to 155.971 CFS. Again, went to the USGS site and converted from CFS to acre feet per day, because I'm trying to get it into the same number. And it comes up to 309.36 acre feet. We are allowed to use 410. What I'm thinking, and what I think we should do at this point, although I don't see a huge amount of building coming in the future, but it would be helpful to know in advance about how many new houses we're talking about before we need to look seriously at our next permit for use. You see, because we have other permits that are there for backup when we use the first one up. But we've got to use the first one up. And then we don't have to file these extensions. The extension this year, what, $595 or something like that to do it? If we get to the point where we have all the water right, we can prove beneficial use for 410 acre feet under this particular permit, then we can file for proof of beneficial use, perhaps get it certificated, ask the court to, the state to certificate, and then it's good. It's protected, it can't be challenged. As long as it's a permit, it's still subject to challenge. Someone can challenge us until we finalize it. But what I'm saying is we're getting close, according to these calculations. Now here's the next thing. I am not a certified water right examiner in the state of Oregon. We need to hire somebody to do this and figure it out for sure where we are, or get a good idea. Just where, I'm not asking for a complete review of all the permits, where do we stand, what do we need to do. I'm just saying, look at what we've got going on right now, tell us where we are, and estimate about where we need to be looking at filing beneficial use on this so we don't overstep our bounds, get somebody committed to having our water and then find out, oops, sorry, we can't do that, we don't have that much water. Yes, ma'am.
Why can't, or does the state of Oregon have a water master that's?
No, it is our responsibility.
Oh, of course we have to pay for it, yeah.
Right. It is our responsibility. As a matter of fact, that's what he pointed out when he was here at that last meeting. He said, again, every time he comes here, he said, you need to get a water right examiner. You need to have an engineer look at it and tell you where you are. And he's right. And it wasn't until I sat down and crunched the numbers that, we're getting kind of close. 2.02 acre feet is about what we use in Nevada, and that's what bothers me too. We're talking people who pump water out of the lake. Most of them have a filter system. That filter system sometimes needs to be flushed. Sometimes it needs to use extra water to push the water through. So where a normal household in the city of Florence, for example, might use 720 gallons a day, we out here may use more because we are trying to filter it ourselves and have to do back flushing, and we have to do all that other stuff. So we need somebody that knows what they're talking about to come look at this. Now, what they asked for, the handouts that they gave with the amounts from the Dire Partnership and the other group, the question was not that question. It was a review of the water rights. So what I'm asking is that we ask staff to look into finding how much it would cost, or maybe do an RFP if you feel it's necessary.
RFQ, just get a quote out there.
Quotes.
We identify what we need.
And that's what I like that idea, get the RFP, let's find out what we need, just so we'll know where we are. I'm not saying that we need to do anything right this second, as far as, you know, filing for PBU or whatever, but I think we need to know where we are, because we're getting close, and I'd hate to overstep, because that really gets ugly.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you, Counselor, and perhaps it's something that we could get accomplished next year. Let's make a note to put that on our goal-setting session for discussion.
In Dyer's estimate that they give us, they were saying how they would have to go out and mark all the points of diversion. We have the majority of the points of diversion already mapped from Oregon Water Services when all that stuff was put in. So that's gonna cut out a big chunk right there.
Can I ask you a question? Councilor Mills, do you have any idea of what other cities who are in a similar situation, who they're using to do this type of task?
There are a number of organizations available, but I have to tell you, there are no other cities in this situation. Most cities have gone the extra step, created a water district, have taxing authority, and treat the water source. This is the first and only that I am aware of in the state of Oregon where we are allowed to allow other people to use our water right.
I figured that was the case. I wanted to make sure it was put out that way.
Counselor Anderson.
I need clarification. Is 720 gallons per day per person or per household?
Per household. And that's, you know, and that's the other thing. There's a big question mark there. Some households are bigger than others, some are not. Some are vacation homes that they don't come very often. So that's where we need somebody who knows the engineering associated with that.
I wonder if you contacted Dave Williams at State Water people.
The water master.
Water master, yeah. And he was talking maybe about retiring. Could that be?
He can't retire. I won't let him.
I was just gonna say,
I don't want to break in somebody new.
You know, he's very familiar with our problem.
Yes, he is.
Had some people, employees that are older than he. You know, maybe if you find somebody that would be willing to post-retire,
and do the work.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Actually, most state engineers do go into private after they're no longer in the office.
He certainly knows the situation
Our
better than
situation
anyone.
better than anybody. It's a good idea.
Okay.
Check and see if he's retired.
Yeah, Rapunzel, would you make sure we get Counselor Anderson's comments recorded so we can make reference back to them? So what should we do right now, Jamie? What's your recommendation, or what do you think we should do?
Well, my request is that the council instruct office staff to begin the RFP, because it takes a while to write an RFP. Doesn't it?
Yes and no. It depends on how many interruptions there are.
So that we can get an idea. Was that him?
Do we want to identify what tasks we want done?
That would probably, yeah, that
do
would
it
be
as a
best.
request for a quote based upon what we need, and you can control what, make sure their needs are met. They can. It's pretty much a fill in the blank.
When we meet to go over the database, we can
Okay.
just go over that at the same time.
That would be fine, if that's what the council wants to do.
You think, Counselor?
Well, I don't see anything more vital to living than having water.
Mhm.
And I know that I think the second 410 acre feet for Mohick is one that I was involved in getting a little bit started. And that just seemed to me like a very good cushion to have, that I would like to see us have the water rights, whether we utilize them to their maximum or not. I want to see us have as much water as we ever want to have. And we're in a very, very unique place in the world to have a lake like this that has more water coming in from underground than from the rain and the surface runoff. this is the most precious commodity we have, so whatever it takes to get it, I say let's do it.
Mhm. Great.
Very unique.
Protecting our future.
Do you need a motion or a consensus?
Motion or consensus? Consensus of opinion that we move forward with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you very much for keeping us up to date on that. Very important topic. New business. Well, I already did that. I read the proclamation under announcements. Well, one thing led to another, so I already did that. Everyone understands?
It's the weather.
It's the weather, geez.
The holidays.
All right.
Beat up Bruce Springsteen.
Okay, so. All right. New business, item B, proposed Lane County Road vacation. This is, Councilor Sanders, do you want to remark on this? It's
Staff had
the-
received a letter from Lane County wanting input about a vacation of part of Foothill. And I'm not really sure what portion of Foothill they're talking about. And my only concern about this item is if this council wants to, in the future, put in a bike and ped path through Chet's Trail area to connect the Darlings Resort, North Beach to Westlake, then we might want to consider not wanting to have that vacated if it is impacting that plan, but I don't know if it is or isn't. I don't know.
I actually spoke to Fred earlier today, and he said that this vacation stopped just short of lot 700. So if we wanted to come through Foothill, it wouldn't stop us from that. But our original plan was to look to go along the lake
To the county park.
to the county park.
Got it.
So I really don't know if we really need to do anything. I mean, it's gonna, if it falls short of lot 700, that's not gonna block us from being able to come out through Foothill Drive.
Correct. My take on the situation is that these vacations do lie within the parameters of a parcel that's owned by private persons. And they're, they're gonna try to configure their lots ever how they wanna do it. And so maybe there's future opportunity there, but I don't see where we would have any business messing. I mean, let's let them do what they need to do.
You know, I'm satisfied if it's not, if it's not an impactful, process, God bless, go ahead.
Okay, so everyone, any other further comments, Jamie or Councilor Mills?
The only thing I'm curious about, I know, and they need to reconfigure it, and it's to their advantage and to ours and to the environments, because, this was the plat as it was laid out back in whenever, 1930s or whatever it was, and did not take into consideration the wetland areas or the meander of the Wohane Creek or any of the things that run through there. And so I think it will help give them the opportunity, the property owners, the opportunity to develop a nice area. But that having been said, if there is any roadway or access, I would like to see it joining into Foothill Road as it exists today. Do we have any kind of say-so in that? Or like if they were to file for a subdivision map, would again we get a courtesy like we did this time? We're supposed to.
We should, yeah. I mean, even though it's Lane County, they should still notify us because we're within 300 feet of the area.
So we could, if we could make a comment at that point in time, so. I don't want to stop this from going, the vacation. I understand why they're doing this. And that's still, the alleyway down here at the bottom, it doesn't affect that alleyway that runs by your property, back there.
No.
No, it does not affect that.
It does not, not your property, no, but it's like the one that runs by your property. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. But yeah, it doesn't affect that alleyway still stays there, so. And that is actually, as I understand it, in Dune City limits, so it's not really an alleyway. Maury's going, I can see it in his head, he's going, where is it, where is it? I don't remember an alleyway, but it's an
Actually-
easement that's back there.
Actually, I understand completely because Councilor Anderson's property abuts my property.
Right, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Any further discussion, counselors? Okay, there you go, next.
Do we need to do anything?
Nope. All right, new business, item C, goal setting, and this is on the agenda, so we can come to an agreement of, as far as date, and we have a calendar in the back, if everyone could turn to the calendar or get their personal calendar out, and we want to set a date. I would imagine it'll be a 3-hour meeting, counselors. We'll call it a retreat. So there. We see some previously scheduled events happening in January 15th. I see this being a midday meeting. Any objection to that, counselors? No?
January 15th.
Parks and Rec Committee meeting on that day.
No,
Thursday,
Nobody ever shows up.
so we could have it from 10 to 3.
10 to 3.
10 to 3.
5 hours.
That's not 3 hours.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, if it
And then
runs
she's throwing
to 3,
trash
it'll be
behind.
all right. If it runs to 3, 11 to 2, I don't know. What's your pleasure? I think we will need at least 2 hours.
At least, yeah.
And I think we'd probably be better to schedule it for 3. So what do you think, Counselor? Wait, are you gonna be?
I have no idea what my schedule will be, and if I know I have to go to Omaha, Nebraska in the dead of winter.
Dead of winter.
That's miserable.
I don't know, but no matter when you do it, I would participate. If I'm not here, I'd participate by phone for 3 hours.
Okay, all
I
right.
will make that commitment, but I'll try to be here personally.
Okay, Jamie?
Oh, well, it doesn't matter to me.
I really
I'm good
prefer
with
not
10
on
to-
Monday or Tuesday. That's kind of how
I'm good
roll,
with
but
10 to 2. Put some food in there.
yeah.
We're talking January 15th?
Does that work?
Works for me.
Yeah.
What do you think, Renee?
It's, works out good, 10 to 2. It's on the schedule.
Okay, so be it.
January 15th,
January 15th, 10 to 2.
Martin Luther King Day.
Is it? It might be a holiday.
It's always a Monday.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Also, the road commission meeting's on a holiday again.
Yep.
Okay, January 15th, 10 to 2. Okay,
Should we schedule 1 or 2 more on top of that? No?
for what?
For your goal setting?
No, we usually get it done in one day.
Okay.
How's that for pre-positioning it? Okay, all right. Reports. My report this evening involves the West Lane Emergency Operations Group. I received a letter from Fire Chief Jim Langford. I'll just read it. Dear Mayor, on behalf of the West Lane Emergency Operations Group, known as WELOG, I'd like to invite your organization to participate in an active shooter planning committee. The goal of this committee is to ensure that all community organizations who could face or be involved in the response to an active shooter situation would work together to ensure the response is coordinated, effective, and safe. I am asking you to send a representative from your organization to attend an introduction meeting on January 16th. Whoa, close call on that. Okay, January 16th, which is a Friday. I already looked that up. And at 2 o'clock at the main office, and it'll be a 1-hour meeting. I was hoping someone would raise their hand exuberantly and ask to volunteer. Are you doing that, counselor?
Well, I'm kind of wiggling my finger, I'm not waving my arm enthusiastically, but
Oh, okay.
that sounds like something maybe I should go to.
Okay.
What exactly are they wanting to do? I ask because I have a preconceived notion of how you handle an active shooter. You put a couple of bullets in someone's gun.
Well, that would be a major problematically if you have no guns.
Who says you don't have any guns?
Okay. Well, you know how that goes. I work at a bank, so there's no guns.
Well, I would,
Except
Counselor
for-
Mills.
I was planning on going anyway, because I know, but because I'm actively trying to get somebody to come down here, and perhaps Maury would do it, and do a training for us here at City Hall, if we have an active shooter situation, so that we would know how to react here at City Hall.
You know, that is exactly what this meeting is going to entail. It's,
But I want hands-on training.
do you recall, I don't know if you went to a WELOG meeting, maybe I was the only representative there, a WELOG meeting where they showed active shooter scenarios. It involves like public building places, which this is a public building place, schools,
Right, any public. Or-
facility, but in particular jurisdictions like cities and districts and things. And they're going to teach what the best response is to it. And during the scenarios, it was obvious that this, of course these are all role played, of course, but this is based on fact. If you handle a situation this way, you'll get this type of result. If you handle it this way, you'll get a better result, and that's fact. So I think it's extremely worthwhile. I definitely want to have a person attend this. Perhaps, anyone, multiple people. Sheldon and Jamie, if you want to attend this and report back. It's
At 2?
2 o'clock, 2 to 3. He says it'll just be one meeting. And then maybe you can report back and see, maybe we need to have Fred go, or you know what I mean? I'm not sure, but what the intentions of the group are, but let's figure it out. So thank you.
But you're asking for, in our situation, there's two scenarios. Staff at work, an active shooter, or in a community event meeting like this, an active shooter.
Right, and
There's two
then
things.
we'll have to deal with it. I mean, like let's say someone's trying to break in or shoot some, I don't know, I can't even think of a scenario right now, but I'm sure you can.
So you'll send us where, and is it 2 o'clock on the 16th? And
Yes, we'll make sure everyone's reminded.
Size of
At the fire station in town, in Florence,
Is
the
this
fire station.
Is the dais up here bulletproof?
No.
I don't know. We've never tested it.
If I can put a hammer and nails so I can hang stuff up for decorations, it's not.
We kind of doubt it, yeah.
It gives a little more protection than this.
It is more for chair. Sure.
All right, so that report took a little bit of while, so I'm sorry, I apologize for that one. But there you go. All right, communication and education committee.
I'll be attending the thing on January 16th at 2 o'clock.
Good.
An active shooter.
Perfect.
I don't think I do want to, I've asked staff to find out what we could do from the county to get the stencils to paint with some work crews, the bicycle lane that we put around this lake so that people don't park in the thing. It's a bicycle lane.
Okay.
So that's something I'm pushing.
You're talking on Clear Lake?
Yep, all the way around.
The county approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
They'd have to do it, we couldn't even
The
touch it.
county. Well, let's get
Request
involved
it.
with the county. Ask them,
Yeah.
beg them.
Figure it out, Big 'em. All right. Anything else, Tyler? Is that your report?
That's my report.
Okay, good, it offsets mine.
Just real quickly?
You have a question?
No, I
Because-
just have a comment.
Oh,
Newsletter was great. I'm getting.
oh, we were
Great
gonna
newsletter.
clap. Let's clap about the newsletter. Yeah, it's very good.
That's because we have a great staff.
Yes, it is, yes, it is.
That's right.
And great writers. Great writers.
Had great articles.
Yeah, okay, we got that one.
That's-
Okay.
Some of those were requested by some of our audience.
Yes.
You're very good, okay. All right, moving along to water quality.
Oh, okay, ordinance review didn't meet. Okay. Water quality, we did meet on November 19th. And readings for Woolwink were pretty low at that time, at between 15 and 17, but there was a lot of surface chop at the time of testing. Other than that, the results revealed no surprises. Silk Coos 2 is pretty good, normal for this time of year. Steve Hager did report on the various working groups from the TMDL meetings, and they did a bunch of survey of the participants. Came up with 150 plus factors affecting sediment, because that's the sediment working group. And they ran 116 of those factors through the model and were surprised to learn that the most important identified factors for influence on sediment into the lakes are, of course, rainfall in the last 3 years. The creek flow versus the slope, meaning, how slope is it? Whether the soils are bedrock, sand, or basalt, whatever the geology is, and elevation. But what they were really surprised is that population density and private forest ownership rates very, very low. They weren't as big as an impact as they thought they were. That's not to mean they're going to ignore them altogether. It just means they were surprised to learn that with all the science and the numbers that they had to work, that it wasn't as big a deal as they thought that it had been. The committee decided to stay with hands-on training rather than producing a training video. And again, Bonnie is here, and she was instrumental in coming to that conclusion. And she's right. I mean, no better way to learn than being right there on the boat and learn. Mark Chandler reported that all the weather testing data has been given to the office staff for inclusion on the website. So yay, we're finally moving forward on that. Bonnie also reported on the efforts to get somebody to enjoy the boring task of sitting in the parking lot at Woolwink Lake and counting the number of people who look like they might be flushing their boats out. And so it didn't, she came to the conclusion that perhaps it's not as big a concern as we initially believed. I reported on the NOAA grant funding. There is national. Were you going to ask a question?
I had asked a question earlier about whether or not, since the boat launching place is in Woolwink, in the park, could they get an intern or something to help monitor and survey and help us determine, because we don't have really any say.
Yeah, we have no jurisdiction.
In terms of the boat launching. I mean, the water is ours that we're hoping we get to drink without, the boat being washed in it, but have we investigated that in terms of trying to get some cooperation with the state park?
I don't think so.
Bonnie was the one that had the conversation met with Dan Schulichow,
Oh, okay.
and mentioned the possibility of putting a counter, one of those traffic counter things on the boat ramp to see. But he doesn't really have the staff either.
Right.
And so, and he faces the same kind of constraints that we do. The biggest concern with boat washing is the transport of invasive species.
Exactly.
And so we know that it's a risk. I would hate, having seen what those dadgum little zebra mussels can do in Nevada, I would hate to see zebra mussels because they will completely encrust your pump and forget it. It's a major task to go out there and keep that pump operational if we get infested. But right now, no one seems interested enough to pursue it.
That just seems like it would be a great project for some graduate student to be there monitoring the boats that are being washed and taking water samples immediately. And
I know the committee is open to ideas.
Seems like state parks would be right on top of that. We really want to have that be a
It's all
priority
money.
too.
It's all
Well, I
money.
know, but I mean.
Money, and they don't have any authority. They don't have the authority to do anything if somebody does do,
That's what I was
if
gonna
they're
say.
washing. They have no authority. They would have to call in the state police, and state police would do it. So I'm not gonna say we're gonna give up on it entirely,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's other options maybe out there that we can explore. For one thing is the NOAA grant funding that's available for harmful algal bloom research, planning, and mitigation. Now, it's really complicated the way they set it up. Their grant funding is available every year. It's in the 3 different categories. The categories are divided by the entire United States, and everything kind of rotates. So the next time that this area is able to apply for grant funding for mitigation of algal blooms in coastal lakes is 2017. And so our hope is the committee, one of the goals that I expect that we will adopt will be to go ahead and write that grant, or the most of it that we can, and have it ready to go when the time comes.
What do they want the grant for?
Whatever the lakes of the Portland, the Center for Lakes in Oregon has come up with studies for both Silcoos and Wowahink, actions that could be taken to mitigate, to offset, to help decrease the threat of algal blooms. And those different actions, there's a whole bunch of actions in the back of the report that tells you what they, I don't know that they actually rated them, but they're still continuing to work on that. So in the meantime, we also hope that they will come up with, say, okay, yeah, dredging is your #1 option, let's go with that. And then have a group ready to step in and say, I'm guessing that we would have to work with a bunch of other people to do this, so. But I'm excited that they're finally coming up with some federal funding, grant funding for blue-green algae research, planning, and mitigation.
Okay.
We will be doing some goal setting in our next few meetings. And as you said, Sheldon, Bonnie suggested the article about the water meters, and we did the article. We didn't, actually Renee had already written it. Okay, and the next meeting will be December 17th at 3 o'clock. And following that meeting, we had a thank you potluck for Mark Chandler. We gave him gifts and certificate from Dune City and thanked him for his many years of service to the city. And I'm sorry that was a long report, but I haven't done one in a couple of months.
It's okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much. Is there any comments on Jamie?
I just had one. You know, I've been at the boat launch quite a bit in the summer for different reasons, and read the sign over there. I think terminology might be one of the problems, because I've never seen anybody wash a boat down. I've seen lots of people flushing their motors out, and the first time I read that, I thought, washing a boat? Who in the heck would come down here and wash your boat? And then, but it's easy to tell. I mean, people back in for 5 minutes and then pull away. So you might think about changing the sign a little bit, because you know, washing is different than flushing. And I'm not sure, you know, how many people during the summer or the fall, when they're using the ocean and the river, actually go out there and do that. But changing the sign might help.
Well, we're there frequently early in the mornings on the weekend, very early. And one weekend last summer, not sure exactly what month, I think it was September, we were coming out and there was a huge pot, a place of crab shells. And so there's people coming there and washing their fishing boats. Yeah, and leaving their garbage. Crab shells laying right there by the dock. I'm thinking, who would do that?
Well, part of the problem is, when I started doing the research, is that boat manufacturers almost all recommend in their handbook, when you've been in salt water, take your boat to a freshwater lake and flush it out.
Okay, then
They say that.
you know what? That is something that we could possibly work on. Talk to the boat manufacturers and have them exclude that. Tell them to flush it out with a hose in their parking lot or something like that.
Or the boat flushing areas that
Or the
are
boat
available.
flushing areas that are available. Don't take it to a freshwater lake. I mean, that's an idea. Thank you for pointing that out. That didn't even occur to me that that happens.
Anyway, we'll, I guess it's still on the list.
Water committee, there you go, that's a task. I get excited about that. Okay,
I'm done.
okay. Counselor Wells.
Well, in preparation for the mayor's banquet, we brought in a tree.
Yes.
And then today we did some pretty good cleanup for our heavy crowds tomorrow night. Make sure they have a nice clean entrance into City Hall.
And I think we talked about it too. Thank you so much. It looks really nice.
Yes. I did
Very, very
decorate
nice.
it. Did you do that, Jamie?
Jamie decorated the
I
tree
decorated
and
the tree.
the girls?
Mm-hmm.
And Gordy. Gordy helped
Gordy
me
did
the snowflakes.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was the lights outside.
That was the lights outside.
Oh. Hmm. Okay. Counselor, you good?
That's it.
Okay. Counselor Anderson?
Yes, we did have an application to remove some dead fallen trees around the lake, or next to the lake. And the presentation was very professional and looked very good. However, I would like to have either myself and Fred or someone and Fred, my replacement Fred, go out together so they can verify it. But it looks like a very easy decision to make.
Would you help him with that?
Do I have a vote?
No. Counselor Anderson just needs you to go on our property or
Sure.
road. Okay.
What?
I think perhaps Counselor Sanders could maybe help you go out there and be a second person to
Okay.
help you with that.
Myself or
Isn't that why you're asking for assistance to
yeah.
go out and take a look at
I'm just
it?
saying, should it be the new counselor to report it?
He won't be here for a couple of months.
Yeah,
You won't?
right. Don't you need
Okay,
that,
sure.
that to be done right away?
I
To
know.
respond to the citizens?
They would like to have it okayed as soon as possible because they do have Gary Folio signed up to do the project.
Okay.
He's the
well,
one that
let's do it then.
did the presentation, so.
Okay, but I'll get a copy of it tonight and then we
Okay.
can set the time.
Just get hold of me and I'll go out with you.
Pardon me?
Just get hold of me and I'll go out with you. If you want to show me, I mean,
Yeah. Well, let's get the report and then over.
Figured out. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
You put you on the spot there. I did, didn't I?
okay.
Anything else,
No,
Counselor
that's
Anderson?
it.
Okay. Counselor Scarberry?
Two of us, Mr. Lapping and myself, showed up for last month's meeting, but we didn't have a quorum. I felt bad because he came in early on a fishing trip. He was out on the lake fishing. So I think in January we need to talk and maybe revamp how we're doing the parks, because I have a quorum if everyone shows up, but to be quite honest, I've got one member and I've been on for a year and a half. I've never met her. So we need to find out if the people that are signed up to be members are actually going to, be a part.
Okay,
May I ask a question?
certainly.
Do we know when her term expires?
I don't remember.
Yeah, let's
Might-
discuss that.
It might expire, and we'll be looking for other people.
I think it's next year.
Okay. Duly noted, sir. Anything else?
Nope.
Counselor Sanders?
Well, I wasn't here for the bulk of the period. The report that you have of the draft minutes pretty much says it all. I will be attending the road commission meeting next Monday. And we've set the agenda, and a lot of the items here are going to be part of the discussion. The thrust of it is to expend the street maintenance budget to take care of some of the nagging issues, such as the Wohink right-of-way issue at Wright Road, and Huckleberry Wright Road that puddles and doesn't drain, those types of things. And I'll be meeting with Gary Baker, and we'll be, making headway, but that's pretty much where we're at.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with the roads today, they're still out there, so I guess it was okay to take them off.
Any questions or comments? Okay. Counselor Mills?
Emergency services?
Emergency services.
Oh, okay. I attended the West Lane Emergency Operations Group meeting. You should have had the minutes in your packet. Basically, they've been awarded a $40,000 grant to rewrite the emergency operations plan, bring it up to date, incorporate the newest developments and that sort of thing. And so they submitted RFPs to hire or contract with individuals, entities, to begin the rewrite on the emergency operations plan. Interviews of those candidates will take place tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock at Siuslaw Valley Fire and Rescue. No,
Yes.
it is?
Yes.
Because he said it was gonna be at City Hall. And that told me it was gonna be at City Hall. But anyway, if it's at Siuslaw, in my mind, that's where it's supposed to be, is at Siuslaw. They'll tell you if it's not, it's at City Hall. When you get there, they'll tell you to go over there. But
Yeah.
anyway, so those interviews are tomorrow afternoon at 1, and then on Monday's meeting, they're expected to make the award based on the interviews and the decisions. And I was planning on attending, however, you had mentioned possibly asking if Maury wanted to go because he's more familiar with the EOC things than I am.
I was planning to go.
Oh, are you planning on
Yeah.
going? Good.
Yeah,
Good.
he's got
Well,
me
then I
on
won't go.
the jinx
But are you
for
going on
that.
Monday? To the meeting on Monday? You
Yeah.
can't go on the meeting on Monday, can
Let's see. Yes, there's a 9 o'clock meeting on Monday.
you? Yeah, there's a 9 o'clock, but there's also the 10 o'clock board meeting. And it'll be the board meeting that they make the decision. 9 o'clock
I don't
meeting
think
is
I'm going to
usually the budget.
that. Oh dear. Okay, we may have some conflicts going on here, but I'll have to
We'll
talk.
work it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Okay, good. The new business for October included a new associate member agreement, which was reviewed and accepted by the board. And the agreement will be sent to each board member electronically, and we're asked to review it, sign it, and return it. So if you haven't gotten it yet, then it's not ready yet.
Yeah, it's in here. It's in-
Oh, it is in
It is,
so you did
yeah.
get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You brought it in.
No, I didn't.
I'm confused, are you talking about the agreement to become associate members of?
Yes,
Yes.
that's it. That was the one that we went over, yeah.
So they're asking us to approve this and send it back to them as a draft document, or what?
What they said was, it will be sent to each member electronically, and they're asked to review it, sign it, and return it.
It says agreement to become associate members of the West Lane Emergency Operations Group.
I don't-
We're already members,
We're
so
not.
this is an annual
No, this is-
deal, right?
We're
No.
not associate members.
We're not associate, we're board members. And so the board, when there is a change to an agreement, the board has to consider it. And so they've asked all board members to take it back to their respective groups for consideration so that they can get approval and
So this
basically
has-
sign off on it, not sign it, but sign off on it.
So this has to be an agendized item at next meeting? Is that what you're saying?
I think so,
Okay.
I think so. Because the board, what is doing, we already took a vote on it, and the board pretty much approved the changes as it was. There was a couple of minor amendments, but nothing of major note. But there was concern raised that they had not, some of them had not had an opportunity to take it back to their respective boards.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we make sure they need us to act on this before we put it in the packet for
Okay.
next?
Hey, you can check with Jim.
Yeah. All right. Because everyone read this, right? It was in the packet, right? Okay. Okay.
And that's it. The next WheeLog meeting will be Monday the 15th. And like I said, they're expecting to award the contract for the grant.
Okay.
at the meeting.
Thank you, Councilman. So Fred gave a report, so do you want to summarize that or just file it for reading because we've read it?
Yeah, we sent out our newsletters, 750 of them. The banquet's tomorrow, don't forget, 5:30. Permit activity's the same.
Hey.
The triathlon is May 9th, 2015. Would you like to know? I'll tell you. Hold on. Okay. So we have, it's slow, 148 days left until the triathlon.
148.
148 days.
Okay.
Well, okay, so, for the good of the order, ladies and gentlemen, for the good of the order.
I've got one.
Ed.
You know, we got this late. Mr. Bruce Herbert handed it out for us to look at. I've been kind of multitasking. I can listen in one ear and read out of the other.
Well, I can't, so I haven't read it.
So I've kind of glanced over it, and it's pretty interesting. So I'm sure this information is going to be popping up about the time of the election next year.
Okay. Councilor Anderson, anything for the good of the order, sir?
I do.
What?
I just want to say it's been a pleasure, all 20 years,
Yeah.
most of 20 years. And particularly this group has been exceedingly responsible, and the attendance has been great, and very cooperative, and their heart is in the right place to make Dune City and keep Dune City the fine community that it is. And it's been a pleasure and a privilege to work with all of you.
Thank you, Counselor. Likewise. How do you follow that?
I just didn't know. Nothing. Just come to the banquet. There'll be good food.
No.
Yeah.
And bring your family.
Bring your family, bring friends, neighbors, new neighbors.
I have nothing.
I'm good.
You good? Aloha.
Aloha, yeah, you're back. All right, let's have a motion to adjourn so we can eat cake.
So moved.
Second.
Second, whoa, it's 8:12.